can you set up Blender MCP? I gave it these photos and I said, can you build the Culver Theater and the surrounding area in Blender using the Blender MCP? So I'm like, okay, go do the thing. And then here's the thing.
Oh, wow.
Welcome back to Denoised. Addy, how you doing? We're not in person anymore this time. I know people enjoyed that we were in person, but sorry, we're back remote.
It's too hot to drive over to that side of town.
Your tires will melt. All right, so we got SIGGRAPH coming up next week.
Yep.
I'm excited about this. This is my first SIGGRAPH. It's very convenient that it's here in LA this year. You gonna hit it up?
Yeah, I'll be there Monday morning. If any of our viewers are there, love to say hi. Just look for me. Yeah.
Let me see. There's the Academy Open Source Day on Sunday, so I'll be attending that, and then most likely Monday, Tuesday.
Okay, I might join you for the Sunday one actually.
Yeah, come by the Sunday one. Have you been to SIGGRAPH before?
Oh, so many of them. Yeah, I mean it's such a mainstay conference for those especially on the creative technology side, the bleeding edge side of media and entertainment, because a lot of the newer research papers get announced there from universities, research labs, and then the new tools or the upcoming tools from the companies get announced there. It's like NAB for the uber nerds, if you will.
Yeah.
So like NAB has like the big releases from like the big companies, but then that like one thing they're really not sure about, they're really experimenting and betting big on, that's going to be at SIGGRAPH.
Is it more of a talk kind of conference or a expo floor conference, or like both?
Yeah, I think the bulk of the floor space is actually the research entities presenting their findings. So like you'll have university graduate students and you'll see stuff that you're like, oh my God, this is like 5 years out, 10 years out. Like for example, the early days of VR, that was the first place I saw haptic touch stuff was at like SIGGRAPH 2016 or 2015. Yeah. So like some stuff will fizzle out and never really make it into a business, but then some stuff will stick. It's just a glimpse into the future of media and entertainment, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm excited to check it out. There was like a LA SIGGRAPH event a few weeks ago, and Netflix did a teaser of some of the stuff they're going to present, and some very cool papers and some very cool research that they're doing that I'm excited to see get out there.
I can imagine Netflix research announcing new stuff there. It's also very strategic on their part because you have a high density of really amazing AI researchers. So if you want to hire them, if you want to woo them, that's the place to do it. You have recruiters out there at the same time. If you're looking for work, I think that's a good place to connect. So all in all, the fact that it's in LA and it's a primarily media and entertainment based thing, those two things will play well together.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. And then outside of the official conference, there's a bunch of satellite events, one of which, if you are in LA and want to come by, you don't need a SIGGRAPH pass for this, and it's free. We are at it's not the sexiest name, but the AI Workflows Summit.
Yeah.
Under the hood, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff here. It's at, not officially KinoFlow, but it's at their like satellite.
They have giant warehouse space in
R&D
Burbank.
warehouse.
Yeah. It's a cool spot.
Yeah. But there's going to be some cool stuff. Some presentations on state of Gaussian splats from NVIDIA, real-time volumetric workflows. And one that I'm very excited and curious about is Ramiro is going to he's been doing like a lot of work with Comfy UI and agentic Comfy UI workflows. And so he's rolling out comfycode.ai, which from what he kind of briefly told me, but we'll get a lot more info there, is kind of like a MCP sidecar for Comfy that sounds crazier than the official Comfy MCP. This one could work local. This one has much more of the like agentic backend that can just do some wild Comfy UI workflows and integrate with SMPTE 2110 and all sorts of other higher level production pipeline stuff.
Yeah, it seems more hardware oriented and more ready for like tangible real world use in a video production world, rather than Comfy being like a software running on the cloud kind of thing. I've known Ramiro for a few years now, and since the time I met him till now, he's always been on the fringe of the extreme innovation side. So I'm excited to see what he's cooked up. He's a brilliant mind.
Ramiro's been pretty wild. I mean, I see his LinkedIn posts of he was like an early OpenClaw user, and he's like, I got OpenClaw spinning and like coding like 5 different agents at once. And so I'm very excited to see what he's got shipping. And then at the very end of that, we've got a panel that I'm moderating. You may be on it.
I don't think I'll be on it. I'm bummed to miss this one, but half of the noise representing.
I'm sad that you won't be there, but yeah, we'll be there. Half of us will be there. So yeah, this we'll post a link. It's a free event. You don't have to have a SIGGRAPH pass. It is Tuesday evening. There most likely will be food and drinks, but I can't promise that. It's not my event.
As long as there's something cold to drink.
There should be something there. Let's talk about Blender. Okay, so OpenAI released GPT 5.6. There's 3 different versions. Sol is like the beefiest one, and it's sort of the equivalent of Anthropic's Fable 5. If you spin up Codex, one of the things I kept seeing people do online was like, I just gave it images, and I'm like, hey, go build this thing in 3D, go build this thing in Blender.
Sure.
And it did it. And I was like,
wow.
All right, let's try that. So
elaborate on it did it.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the quickest tutorial, because literally all I did was you download Codex, which is...
So Codex is their competitor to Claude Code. It's like a
Codex is a competitor to Claude Code. It was a separate app, but I'm like stopping myself because now I'm looking. I believe they actually got rid of it and they just rolled it all up into the ChatGPT app. So basically it's a copy of the Claude app, where Claude app has regular Claude side and then it has Claude Code side. ChatGPT has ChatGPT side for normal chats, and then it has Codex, which is their coding agent. And also it just can do more things on your computer. So literally all I did was I started a new project, and then I said, can you set up Blender MCP? And then it
anybody can MCP. Type that in.
It's a third-party tool. It found it, it installed it, it set it up. Yes, it did.
Wow.
And then for this test, so I had some pictures from the Culver Theater from AI on the Lot, and I gave it some of these photos. Now, these aren't the best photos because they're one-sided. I didn't get a good angle of the corner and the other side. Mm-hmm. But I gave it these photos, and I said, can you build the Culver Theater and the surrounding area in Blender using the Blender MCP?
Stop there. I just want to say how difficult that would be for a modeler if you go to the picture. Yeah, like it's a lot of Art Deco intricate architecture. It's not everything is not right angles, right? Like if you look at the 4 things holding up the sphere up on top, like that's a pretty difficult thing to model, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, don't get your hopes up with that part. But I also didn't give it great images. I would be curious. I haven't tried if we could give it a reference video. Even if you couldn't, you could extract the frames if you had like a drone shot
screen
and then
grabs.
Give it a bunch of frames. Yeah. I mean, this is a very preliminary test. I am curious how much better it would get the more images you get, or if there's like a cap of like, it just doesn't.
I'm just curious about the first quality based on what you have from your cell phone. Looks like.
So I gave it to this. I'm like, okay, go do the thing. And then here's the thing.
Oh, wow. That's almost there.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
So because I didn't have a great angle of the corner, this is actually a second pass. I gave it a revision, and I said the corner should be more rounded, and it's a corner door. The first pass was a bit flatter, but overall, it got the lamps, it got the overall shape of the building.
It's okay. Yeah, like the theater sign is the biggest egregious error. I mean, look, it's giving you rounded corners, some spheres. It's building it with like basic shapes. Look at the floor. Can you go back to your image? Let's see the floor by the door. Yeah, like that's such a terrible picture for the Art Deco, concrete stamping thing on the floor, but it did an interpretation of what it thinks it could do. And then like how many windows are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe?
Yeah, it didn't get all the door windows. It kind of solid some things out.
But man, for a first pass, geez.
Yeah.
This is good.
And look, it didn't really have a good image on this side, but it sort of made up these Art Deco.
Sure.
Like there are movie posters on this side, and it's not really in the image, but it did a pretty good job of just sort of making something up that like made sense
for
the design. look, for first pass, this was a refined, this is technically the second pass, and I said to like change a few things, and it did that. But look, overall,
this is such a great starting point. Crazy. And look, you have all of your geometry
and look,
separated
it
out.
Did get your
in the outliner.
It did get your
like if you this is all like ready to modify. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed, Joey.
But look, it got your top thing pretty. It got your top thing pretty well. I mean, it's not what it actually looks like, but it's
not even close.
I didn't give it a great, but it got the ball and it got some of the stuff here. This is not a great. If I had a drone and gave it some better angles.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like a 3D scan company and people that do digital twins of sets and stuff, they have the equipment to then, instead of feeding it into reality capture and making a mesh, now they can feed it into codecs.
I'm thinking too, like for me, it's like if a lot of the workflows I'm messing with, like I don't need super accurate photoreal 3D models. I just need like gray box, get me roughly there so that I have the geometry and we can do some camera moves and then just use these as base inputs into like video to video workflows. So like, I'm like, if it gets me 70% of the way there of like what it should look like and has roughly everything in place, we can clean all the other stuff up with like Gen AI passes.
100%. I can see that. Also, I'm seeing this for traditional VFX where you have to send a team out to scan, put it all back together, right? Now that is just a bunch of phones, really, and maybe some ladders to take higher enough pictures.
Oh yeah, or it's about drone. I mean, I have the DJI Pocket drone, which they like built it so it's technically under the weight. They have to. And then what?
How long? It looks like it took you like 6 minutes in codecs to go through all of this. It's insane.
Yeah, it took once it spun up the server that built this in maybe 10 minutes, and then you can also light and modify that. Oh yeah, and also I didn't ask for it, but it gave me a render movement.
Yeah, I don't.
And then I said, "Oh, hey, can you relight it so it's like the lamps are illuminated and the building's illuminated, and it's like a moody night scene?" And then it did this. Obviously, you could tweak it and refine it, but I just said, "Hey, turn it like these into practical sources." And
I would just take over in Blender because it's assigning emissive values to some of the trim, which is not accurate. But the light on the little round light posts, that looks nice. I mean, look, here's what I'm trying to say is, a year or two ago, I thought that the Gen AI revolution would really take us from a 3D world back to a 2D world a little bit. Because why bother with 3D when you can just get to final pixel, right? And this was my incorrect assumption back then. Since then, I've noticed, and I learned the hard way, is that you still need 3D because Gen AI just doesn't give you the control, right? If you want the camera move, if you want, like that sphere to be held up by 4 things, like these very nitpicky things, then you got to do the thing in 3D. And then Gen AI will hopefully fill that photorealism gap in 2D, which is what we're seeing a lot now. I think in a year or two from now, my prediction is we're going to be in an entirely different world that is so deeply in 3D, but without the complexity of traditional 3D. Like, if you think about
like a simplified
it's just like all the things you don't have to do. You don't have to model. You don't have to do shading. You don't have to do lighting. You don't have to do geometry optimization and like rigging and skinning and all the things that is associated with the 3D complexity bubble, right? And you're talking about people's job is to do very specific things, very specific lanes, and now you're going to have just an operator, just a AI 3D operator that can do all of these complex 3D functions in Blender, in Unreal, hopefully in Maya, and still have, quote unquote, a traditional workflow, but with the simplicity of using ChatGPT or Claude, or just like prompting and typing.
Yeah, especially as these things get faster and more real time. Like the thing that was also really impressive with this was it took control of the computer, but it felt much more responsive than when Claude takes control of my computer, and it's still like, let me look at the computer. Okay, let me assess the screen. Let me figure out what I'm looking at. Okay, let me take an action. And it's like still this very slow process where the codecs felt a lot smoother. It was also talking to it via MCP under the hood. But as this keeps getting faster and faster, and voice models and all of that stuff gets better, and then you're just literally in a gray box room or just in whatever space you want, and you're just talking to the thing, and you're like, oh, hey, like, okay, move the camera here. Okay, let's add a tree over here. All right, let's, I need to make that wall bigger. And you're literally directing, and it's doing all of the 3D set build stuff under the hood, and it's just responding to the direction.
100%. And the other two things that are kind of converging and will sort of meet in a really happy place, I think, is the fact that GPUs are getting more powerful, right? That NVIDIA is working on this. They have Blackwell now. They're going to have future GPUs. So on the 3D side, you're going to be able to run trillions of polys, right? Right now, we're in the billions. In the future, hopefully trillions, like insane amount of polys, more than you can imagine. And then at the same time, the AI models and inference will get faster or more accurate. So your interactivity with AI, your responsiveness, your iteration, that's becoming more natural. And then the stuff you're making is becoming more complex and more lifelike. So the end result is like you being able to recreate reality or recreate a completely new world effortlessly, just effortlessly.
And look, also, I was this gave it Blender, but if Blender is the orchestrator or the base level too, like imagine connecting this stuff to all of the other models and things that we've talked about, image to 3D, text to 3D, Marble World and World Labs, and using all of those tools at its capacity to bring in or create even more photorealistic things into your scene, and then orchestrating in your 3D scene, and then it's all there and consistent and controllable, but much more higher fidelity.
I mean, it's so hard to predict the future, but like right now, the way we're sort of establishing the workflow, and I see this across the board, is stuff on LinkedIn, stuff on Instagram and stuff, is you do a lot of fine creative work in 3D, and then AI is essentially a renderer. It like takes you to a style or a realism level that you can't really achieve easily with 3D. You're saying that in the future, like that will be the workflow, like 3D will play the piloting part and then the finishing part will be AI.
Yeah, for sure. Other thing too, I saw this and I just wanted to like flag it of just like what even just new formats or new things will be created with these tools. So Alex Barashkov built with Codex what it's calling Aval or Aval, a new open source format for interactive video on the web. And he has this demo of this interactive video with grass blowing. I know this clip's from a movie. I just don't remember what. He built this whole brand new format for handling video and interactive video on the web with Codex. And so it just makes me think like what other new things, formats are just going to be open and unlockable for.
Damn, imagine that, like just making your own USD or FBX file format. Because you can, like, you have the ability to have complex software tasks automated.
Yeah. Small file size, low CPU overhead, alpha transparency, web native runtime.
And like the future is so hard to imagine because it's literally not built yet. Like we can't draw a straight line because the points on the beginning of the line aren't even there.
I remember you poo-pooed when we talked about that thing a few months ago that was like what was it? It was like generative websites. It was like websites that sort of built on demand.
Yeah, I would poop
based on your need. But I feel like that's still going to kind of come into play more and more. Like if you have a use, you need software, you need something. These like tools or solutions that spin up based on need, because it's just so easy to spin something up from scratch. That does exactly what you need to do.
Also, it could take us into like the Wild West of software and formats and things that are not debuggable, just built by vibe code. It could be like a total mess, right? Like one pipeline will look nothing like another pipeline. So if a VFX artist worked on one show and they go to another show, they're like, what am I doing?
Yeah. Yes. That's probably going to become very messy, especially if every studio builds their own proprietary system. I think maybe the systems interfaces are unique for whoever builds them, but I think open standards are going to get even more important.
Yes.
Like USD, Open Timeline, what other standards are there? A lot of stuff that they're talking about this Sunday is going to just keep getting more and more vital. you could build your own system, but like making sure your system can communicate with everyone
Wow,
else's
you really
system.
just convinced me to go to the Sunday open source thing. I'm like, yeah, that sounds really relevant. I need to go. Yeah. Yeah. What
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at the talks there. I'm like, yes, all of these things were like I'm messing around with because we need ways to like, if I'm building an app and I'm building a timeline, I need to make sure that timeline can get sent to Resolve or Premiere. And
you're right. Open source and open formatting become more important than ever. But that's not going to stop somebody from coming up with their own USD. I'm just thinking, like, just going back to USD and how much of a revolution that was and how long it took. Like, Pixar took 10 years to make that from scratch. And that was, I don't know, the early 2000s is when the work started. And just now we're seeing all that trickle into all the nooks and crannies of media and entertainment. I mean, it's still like... not for the amateur because you need software to be able to handle it correctly. But I'm just thinking if there is such a thing as a standard for building your own standard.
Yeah, I think it depends what you want to do and what you need to like be able to transfer in and out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but it's like, yes, those like USD and stuff took a long time to adapt because there were only a few big software players that would handle it.
Yeah, so software was expensive, and now software is super cheap, right? So that's the thing that flipped.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, if you don't accommodate what I need, I can just build it myself. Right. And that's the part where I'm like, maybe this is a naive take, but it's only going to get better and faster and easier.
And there's also all types of decentralized resources that you can tap into. What if there's a format that just runs FAL stuff? What if there's a format that just runs NVIDIA's web GPU stuff, right? And it's not really built for anything local. It can run on a Mac, on a PC, or anything. That hasn't been really imagined as far as I know, right? Like nothing is really 100% optimized for 100% decentralization.
No, I mean, unless you're building it.
Yeah, maybe like GLB formats, question. Like stuff that, anyway, I don't know enough voodoo science behind those formats, but yeah, like it's an interesting area to watch for sure. So not only the workflow itself, but the delivery and the formatting and the exchange of information.
Yeah. All right, you want to talk about older software now, new stuff and established software. All right, let's talk about Nuke. Nuke just announced a SmartRoto function along with some updates to grip tape. Okay, SmartRoto, new Nuke plugin that handles basically it's smart.
I'm betting it's like AI powered under the hood.
I would assume so too. I mean, this is stuff that's already been in Resolve with IntelliMass, IntelliTrack, and Premiere and After Effects has pretty good.
Foundry Smart, they're so sensitive to the use of the word AI or any sort of artificial intelligence connotations, although they just acquired grip tape and they're going full AI.
But in a way that makes sense to like high-end professionals and that works in professional.
Nobody wants to do frame-by-frame roto.
It's a delicate balance, but...
Come on, man. Those roto artists don't like to do roto.
No, I'm talking more about grip tape and stuff. Like, you were saying they go fully AI, but like fully AI in a way that still integrates with high-powered professional pipelines.
They're doing it the right way, for sure. Grip tape, to me, at least the grip tape enterprise, feels like comfy for VFX, for the lack of better terms. So I saw this announcement. It's like OCIO support, which, something you would have to probably build in Comfy. I'm not sure there's a node for it or anything. Local GPU inference and stuff, which I thought was super interesting because studios are super sensitive about using the cloud for unreleased IP and things like that.
Yeah, they're definitely more in the keep it local.
It's all good progress. It's really converging with traditional AI nicely. I think the Foundry and grip tape understand, obviously, given their history with Nuke, they understand that world really, really well. That is their core audience, their core demographic. So I expect nothing less from the Foundry, and they have sort of fine-tuned themselves into this world. No pun intended.
Yeah. I think SmartRoto only gets more important with AI-generated stuff when you gotta isolate elements.
Yeah, and I mentioned on the pod before, like because of the inherent noise, denoising of AI generations, Roto stuff and matte stuff doesn't work well with it, as far as I've heard. I mean, from some of my testing, I can't 100% confirm that, but
oh right, you mentioned that last time. No, I don't think that's true, because we've been masking the crap out of generated stuff to clean it up, and it's
okay. So maybe
fine.
it's the
it behaves the same.
I don't think it's Roto. Then maybe
video.
it's camera tracking, because camera tracking is essentially trying to figure out a 2D space into a 3D camera move.
Okay, we haven't done as much of that, so yeah, maybe. I'll try some shot.
Yes.
To see if we could track it. All right, rage bait time.
We're just doing it for the rage bait. Okay. Yeah,
we're doing this to clip this. AI-generated Odyssey movie costing a few $1,000s, unveiled ahead of Nolan's $250 million feature. I saw one of these things frame it as like going head to head, and it's like.
So that's what I thought. I was like,
what?
wait,
who's going head to head?
Nolan makes like 3-hour movies, right? It's like, wait, somebody made a 3-hour Odyssey with AI. I have to see it. And if you look at the length of that video clip, 1 minute 52 seconds.
What is the trailer for the epic that is coming?
Yeah, I think this is it. I don't think it's coming. I think they ran through their credits with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the trailer right now. I don't have any sound on. But it's got shots.
I mean, it has some beautiful shots here and there. Obviously, well color graded, synthetic humans, I'm guessing. But some of the shots completely break. Especially, anything with perspective or distance. AI still can't figure out real, accurate lensing in glass, and your eyes can easily tell that is artificial. So, for example, you can pause on any frame, and I'll point it out.
This feels like the least of my issues with this. There's just more like the camera geography and placement just off. The quote performances, or the talking, everything still feels just uncanny valley. That has not been broken from a fully synthetic point of view.
Oh, Cyclops, is it with 2 eyes?
No,
okay, with the underworld creatures.
Yeah.
Oh, that had a nice fisheye or anamorphic-y lens to it. Again,
I mean, I feel like I've seen 5 different styles in this one trailer. You know what they should have done? Because you're not on X as much, but when the first costume, Matt Damon appeared, images from the film, the history dweebs.
That's not period accurate.
Greek. Yeah. Period accurate, and then the period accurate ones was these ridiculous garbage shoot looking things. So someone, if they wanted to go all in with the Odyssey, they
I think it was the Bronze era or something
of the Odyssey.
The armor was way more modern, something like that.
Yeah, something I mean, the bottom line is the armor that is in the movie looks cool, and the armor that was accurate did not look cool compared to our standards today. So hope that helps when they go to Hades, and then you're like, what's the accuracy of Hades? And it's
Yeah, I think the Hollywood Reporter is really just struggling for clicks here with this headline.
I'm always more shocked. Who the hell is their PR rep that gets it? It wasn't just Hollywood Reporter.
Yeah, it's like the same Tilly Norwood type headline,
I was gonna say that came out a few weeks ago, and I've got a strict ban on. We're not talking about that stupid shit. But that story came out too. That was she's gonna be in her first movie. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And that was on everywhere. That even made it to the point that my completely non-AI wife was like, there's some AI actress that's going to be in a movie or something.
She aren't you going to talk about it on the podcast?
Kudos to whoever the hell is behind that for getting this stupid PR press for this thing. That's been the most amazing feat.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, out of all
so
of this.
I mean, I will give credit to the guy. What's his name? Ash, the guy that made this.
Ash Kusha.
Even though it probably won't work as a cohesive storytelling feature film. The shots are cool by themselves. So hats off to just pure generation. Yeah.
Yeah, but we know the AI is good at making cool
Yeah.
shots. Like that's been proven. It's like making a cohesive thing where you're like in the story. It's got consistent characters, consistent shots. Now that we're talking about this, let me bring up one thing that I did see that
While you're bringing up a quick rant, we
yes.
talked about this time and time again. I'll cover it one more time because we're on this topic. The true unlock with AI is to combine it with physical performance and on-location shooting. If you can just solve for the expensive bits of production, let's say you half your cost, that is the win. Having said that, there are people trying to figure out fully synthetic everything, and I think they're really limiting themselves by doing that. It's like, I'm not going to put a camera on anything. I'm not going to put any human performance in there. Why? Because AI can do it all. I'll just do the whole thing synthetic. I think you set yourself back, like so far back with quality if you do that.
Yeah, I think, what you're saying, the unlock is human performances. I would argue, I don't think you need, locations. I think you can get away with a lot if it helps, immerse.
Yeah, you don't.
But,
I don't think you need full locations. I do think you
you
need a film, like a cinema camera with real glass and real film back, because the perspective, the distortion, the sort of geometry of the real world, AI just can't get right. So then if you're just bringing that in as a reference plate and then have AI fill everything up, that'll go so far to make it look realistic.
You definitely need props and objects. Like anything they touch and interact with, you need that. You need people.
Yeah, but you can do matte painting in the back and
layered.
Have parallax and all that
worlds,
stuff. Yeah, it's like LED volume in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I think that is the best balance. Look, I mean, sure, if you're like super low budget and you want to try to make something that is just completely generated, like at least the option's there. I just don't think the quality is there.
Yeah,
to make something
so
that feels completely immersive. That said, this was the teaser thing. ByteDance released a trailer teaser video that was made using Seedance 2.5, and this is like a football
soccer, you mean?
Commercial. I'm in World Cup mode, and it's all football now. And then when World Cup ends, it goes back to
soccer. That's pretty good. This is 2.5. Yeah, I've been waiting for some 2.5 outputs.
The motion that's starring a kid who's kind of like kicking the ball through London. Movement looks good. Kid looks.
I mean, the ball contact with the feet
feels,
and even like that shot there, that should be so hard for AI to do, and it does it well.
Yeah, this so we might be eating our words.
We might be eating our words, and that is okay. This is the whole point of the podcast. Follow us for the journey.
I mean, obviously, the caveat with everything is like, this is the worst it'll be today.
Yeah.
Still no word on when 2.5 is coming out. I keep seeing updates and it's getting getting pushed back, but it's coming. I think I did speak last time. I think I said 50 references, but I think it's only 30 references.
Are you kidding me? Where am I even going to find 30 references? I have like 3 at most in most generations.
Here's my photo. Here's my entire photo library. Just go make a movie.
Oh, you know what? The Culver City Theater could use 30 references.
Yeah, that could use more.
Like all the close-ups and things like that.
Yeah,
for sure. But yet to see if they'll place all the references in the right location spatially.
Yeah, you have to give it a wide shot of stuff. I am curious how much instruction you can give it with the references that it'll retain and understand. If you give it a wide shot and then close-ups of things, will it understand like, okay, this is how everything relates, and then but like the action should be here and things should happen here. It'll be the new Wild West of like, how do you coordinate and direct this stuff when you have so many reference images, and like what can it understand and stick to?
Okay, so when 2.5 comes out, you and I both have to generate some reference images.
Okay, we might go broke. We might go broke from that because it might come out.
Generation.
We don't know how much they're going to charge, and if they're going to charge you more based on if you have more reference images.
Oh yeah, okay.
A 4K.
We should start a GoFundMe for that generation.
The 4K Seedance output, like one shot, is roughly like $5.
Oh my God, really?
If you max it out to 4K and like even just I think 5 seconds, it's like roughly like $4 or $5. Yeah, it's steep. it gets
Yeah,
pricey.
you can't do iterations that well for $5. Yeah. Wow.
Cha-ching.
Those are LA prices, man. This is. Is it cheaper to run
If they
it in
keep those prices up,
Texas?
it'll be like the other software development companies when they were like, oh, we're going to rehire the people because the tokens are too expensive than what it costs for a person. I know it's happening. It's going to be the same with film, where it's like, oh, it's actually cheaper just to like shoot this for real than to blast Seedance with it.
The costs have got to come down. I mean, I wonder how much of it is the actual like data center GPU cost, and how much of it is just greed.
I don't know. I mean, I think a mix of both, because like also depending where you generate, there's for Seedance especially, the prices do vary quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do one generate. I can afford like, I don't know, $20. I'll do 4.
But yeah.
Okay, and that's all, Joey. All right, you just get 4 takes.
When 2.5 comes out, we will do that. Okay. Last thing, quick thing in the open source world. Thinking Machines, which
Mira
was Mira Murati, who left, one of the OpenAI founders, started Thinking Machines. They've been working for a while. They raised a bunch of money. They now have released their first official model called Inkling. And
Yay for open source.
Open weights.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty solid model based on this article. Like it does significantly step up the competition with ChatGPT and Claude.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely not at that level, but in the world of open source, it's on par with Kimi 2.6. I mean, definitely this is like a huge leap for an open source American model, because like pretty much all of the open source
like DeepSeek
decent models have been from Chinese. Yeah, have been from Chinese model AI companies. So yeah, I mean, this is a big leap for putting out this big model, open sourcing it, multimodal. I'd be curious once someone, or I think they have a spot on their website called Tinker that you can like mess around with it. And then obviously you could run this open source, or I'm sure a bunch of providers will add the ability to work with this model via third-party tools.
Yeah, so going back to Mira Murati, she was the CTO of OpenAI. She left, and then Ilya Sutskever was, I think, the chief research officer at OpenAI. He left. And then, those are the two people I'm watching closely. And then the third person I'm watching closely is Yann LeCun, who left Meta and now has $1 billion in funding for his own company.
He thought LLMs were, like, not the way, right?
He still thinks that. I think he said something like LLMs have 2 years left. Because I think he's right. Scaling is not working. It's giving you diminishing returns. And, no matter how many more billions of parameters you train on, intelligence doesn't go up by that much.
And what's the alternative? Just a bigger, like a world model?
It's the JEPA architecture, according to him. We could spend another episode on the JEPA architecture. But essentially, you move away from a text-based approach into a more abstract approach where text, images, video, any kind of input just becomes seamless with one another, rather than us discretely building a text model, image model, video model, mashing those three things together to get reasoning. This is inherently more fluid in nature.
Okay. All right. I'm very curious about that.
Me too.
Okay, so this is out, and then also, I know I just compared it to Kimi, but Kimi is also teased with a pretty sick launch video that Kimi 3 is about to come out, which is expected to be China's largest AI model with 2 to 3 trillion parameters.
Jeez.
Open weight, on par with like Claude Opus 4.8. So,
oh my God. Did you say trillion?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's coming soon.
How big is the file going to be?
Like no
the weights?
Yeah, I got no
like
idea.
1 terabyte.
Yeah. So that's coming.
That's awesome. I mean, like, it's not awesome in the sense that the biggest, baddest model ever is coming out of China and not here.
Biggest, baddest,
awesome.
open
source
model. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder why Thinking Machines launched their thing open source. Do you think it's strategically to just get people to use it and tinker with it and get their hands on it?
It's like, what do you do when you're starting a new thing and you're already, like, you're not going to beat ChatGPT or Anthropic. So like,
Right.
what do you do to make a splash? And if you've been training a pretty good model and you want to get people on board with it, open source
You start to get users on it, build momentum on the flywheel, if you will. I mean, it's what Stable Diffusion did so well with SD 1.5, SDXL, right? They gave it away for free very early on, and now it became synonymous with image models like a few years later.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't released it yet, but one of the first things that Thinking Machines teased like a few months ago was that conversation chatbot that was much more, in the demo they did, it was like a much more responsive, reactive, like fluid conversation that they were having, like where if you interrupted the model, it kind of like picked up with the new chat, and it was something that it seemed like they were focusing on was like a conversational aspect, and that part hasn't been released yet of whatever they're working on there.
I did see a really interesting feature that I didn't see with other models is it can fine tune itself.
Oh, interesting.
Based on, so like if you need let's say you want to run an agent that runs a dentist office or something, like it has to fine tune on dentist stuff, like, you know, orthodontists and things like that. It could probably fine tune itself if you just ask it to and give it enough data.
That's cool, because right now it's sort of like a hack where you have the model and you have a bunch of markdown files, and then the markdown files update themselves.
And then you got to build a giant context window. And I think the context window here is pretty insane too. I think 1 million characters or 1 million tokens, which is a massive context window.
I think I saw on Tinker, at least, it was like capped at 256, but maybe if you go full blast, it's 1 million.
Yeah. So like it's definitely a modern model by today's standards, which also happens to be open source. And I'm hopeful that this is a good alternative to ChatGPT and Claude. I think competition in this space is what we need, you know, just to get things better and more efficient. I'm just really worried about using all those GPUs. Like, can we get a model?
Yeah, and stuff that could run locally too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that as workflows get more established and as it sort of pushes into like higher end film production workflows or other things, like exploring stuff that you could run locally is going to get more interesting.
Absolutely.
And more needed, especially when you start comparing the costs of API tokens versus spinning it up yourself.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Good place to wrap it up. This went deeper than I thought, but this was a fun one. Links for everything we talked about at denoicepodcast.com.
If you want to catch Joey and I at SIGGRAPH, we'll be there Sunday at the open source thing and Monday morning as well. And I think, Joey, you're going to attend.
A few days longer.
Yeah, you're going to attend.
Yeah, definitely be there Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. The thing goes until like Thursday. That's why I was also curious, like how it's like longer than NAB.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a long thing.
A lot of it is like the big keynotes and stuff which go on.
Yeah. All right.
But Lenny Smoot.
Thanks everyone for watching. We will catch you in the next episode.